Hey everybody, how you
Hello,
doing,
everyone.
Shinu?
I am great, Andrew. How are you?
Good to see you here.
Thank you.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
people are starting to
Likewise.
come in. So welcome everybody. Let us know where you are watching from. And a quick reminder that if you're watching from any of the Facebook groups, make sure you click on the link that you see in the description to please give StreamYard permission to show your name and profile pics so that I'll be able to credit you when you comment or ask questions. It's the streamyard.com/Facebook. So thank you. Andrew Nichols. Good to see you here, Andrew. Hi
Hey,
there again,
Andrew.
Andrew and Shanu. Andrew's dedicated viewer. I appreciate that. Watching from the UK as well. Let's see, we got watching from the coast of Maine today. The Maniac Van Man. Good to see you here. So yeah, let us know where you're watching from. I see people coming in, so don't be shy. Let us know. Things good for you out in Ireland there, Shanu?
Oh, it's brilliant. We had, sun today after a long, long time
Mm.
in the day. It was nice. The weather was a bit chilly, but I think we are getting back on track to good weather slowly, slowly.
You have wonderful summers there. I mean, it's so green there. It's so plush that it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous indeed. Yeah, I love the greens and the rain a bit, but and
Yeah.
I just love it here.
What about the rain? Do you get used to the rain?
Oh, I love the rain.
Yeah.
Like it's like every third day, but I love it for some
Tim
reason.
from Birmingham.
Hey, Tim. His work is phenomenal. Tim Pye.
Cool. Yeah, the rain helps you fall asleep at night too, right?
If I could hear them, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, once again, let us know where you are watching from. Cool. Are you going to showcase some of your newer work as well, Shanu?
uh, yeah,
Not
I
nothing
was.
now, but soon,
Maybe.
maybe. Going to
Yeah,
tease everybody.
it's a work in progress. So I
Yeah,
don't know. Sometimes it takes like a day and a half to just conceptualize over a period what to do,
sure.
what to.
Great. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's good enough. So why don't you introduce yourself? Let everyone know who you are, Shanu.
Yeah, hey everyone. So my name is Shinu John. I am a photographer and I currently work in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, that is. I was born in India and I've been in Ireland for a good few years now. And hey Tony, and I just love working here. Like the people are really nice, and the opportunity that the country presented has allowed me to approach to my art as a photographer, as a fine art photographer. Uh, and yeah, I'm just like grateful for the opportunities that I've had, and that's it.
Great.
In terms of like, yeah, in terms of like art, it's like like doing portraiture the most. And
And Osvaldo says, the man, the myth, the legend.
thank you, Swallow.
Osvaldo's also a moderator for our groups. Cool. Good to see you here, Osvaldo. Neil says, hi from Derry City in Ireland.
Hey, Neil. Yeah, I
You
know
got
him.
you got the Ireland clan in the house. Yeah, cool. So, want to showcase some of your work and talk about what have you been up to then? Shanu?
Yeah. I'll, so this is one of my oldest of works, and it was kind of like created as an accident. I had the speed light inside, like she was wrapped in a blanket, like a see-through fabric, and I had the like speed light inside it. It was intended to be kept outside, but she accidentally kept it inside,
Mm,
and the reflection of the light on the floor was just like marvelous. So
Excellent.
this was one of those images which kind of like inspired me to create works with a single light source. And
Nice.
for me, the journey is just about experimenting in creative ways to experimenting with light in portraits.
Great. Okay.
Like, yeah, this is another one of those works that I'm proud of in terms of like doing something in Photoshop. So the background is actually a stock image. It's like a photo that I had taken of pixels, and the shot of herself was actually shot inside a room, and I I learned a few things for the first time about like blending colors, matching shadows and highlights, midtones, giving a mood to the image, and this is one of
Nice.
my first successful creations, which I like, loved creating. I think it was the span of over 6 or 7 hours.
And with the work that you do you ever use stock photography? Or it's all your photographs for of the different sources for backgrounds as well.
I would say it's like a 80 to 20% ratio.
Right.
So 80% would be stocks, textures, and 20% would be something that we shot be made.
Great. I'm gonna go full screen for you.
Thank you so much,
Nice.
Andrew.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so the background is a stock image. The hand is also a stock image at the bottom, and she was apparently lying over the edge of a chair because she was so
Hmm.
tired. And like it was just like a lucky shot. And I was like, okay, let's present it and transform that in a way to make it really, really spooky. And I managed to create this.
Yeah, nice dream feel. Yep.
This used to be my screensaver at some point in time, but yeah.
Cool.
This was like one of my fellow friends in Ireland as well. She's a model, and as like a fitness trainer, like she like likes to do those muscle poses. And this shot was actually one of those poles that you get from the backdrop leftovers.
Hmm.
The cardboard inside. I tend to like salvage stuff like that, like into props.
And with this one, would you say that the contrast was pretty high already, or is that something that you worked on in Photoshop after to kind of enhance that a lot more?
I think the contrast was pretty much close to it. Like I was stuck with the speed light, a
Yeah,
bare
nice.
bulb speed light, and that was the only thing I could use. So literally hung it off the ceiling using a leftover rope, and it was literally swinging from the top. I had no
Beautiful.
control over it, and yeah, just
Yeah, it's
like
beautiful.
thank you. I just try to take advantage of the things that I have.
Nice.
This was another one of my friends and good models, Poppy Seed, and she's a ballet dancer, a really really amazing one. And this was one of her old shoes, and I added in the hummingbird, extrapolated the size to be excessively big,
Right.
and just tried to tell a story with it. This is
See that
one
one.
of my favorite pieces,
Yeah, it's
which
a
I
great
was.
one.
And thank you, Andrew. Like this was one of those pieces which I kind of like had thought about after seeing a really old painting of I think I don't know who the painter was, and it was about a fallen angel with one of the wings clipped off, and it's being pulled away by a bunch of babies, and that just gave me an idea of making a series of images with one winged people in it. And
And was she really on like a box like that a bit, or did you place her onto that type of
so
thing?
this was actually a bedside locker,
Hmm.
and I had nailed in some plywood onto it
Great.
to make it look like a column, and then I extended the column to make it look like a pillar.
Sure. Nice.
Added in some fake light over the wings just to
I
make
like
it more realistic.
and I like the colors and the textures in it moving around as well, moving up.
Yeah, it tends to introduce a very subtle element of motion and flow of water without being there.
That's right. Nice. I've seen that one
This
too. Yeah.
yeah, so this was actually an inspiration from another image by another photographer. I don't seem to recollect it. And there, it was a bird similarly drinking the tears, but it was a different bird. The color scheme was different, and I just
Sure.
had to re-execute it with some more elements.
It's very iconic. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, so when you put out a book of your photography, that could be the cover. So,
It has the potential to be one of the covers. Yes, I also have this really large piece of artwork in my studio as well. I'm
beautiful.
really proud of this one. Yeah, like the obsession with single winged angels again.
Right. Good
So
theme.
this was when I learned how to make glows for the first time.
Right. So with that, do you tend to, focus your lighting so that is the enhanced area, and then you just have to do certain amount of editing in, say, Photoshop, or is a lot of that like extra glows that you add or certain plugins as well?
Uh, Both, a mixture of both. So depending on the theme that I would be creating, I would need you know the storytelling done with the light in a certain direction. So I tend to visualize and draw on like sticky notes. I tend
Right.
to
Sure.
draw these out and try to jot down what's the mood that I want, and just conceptualize a story and try my best to get as close to it.
Andrew Nichols says he loves these photographs. Yeah. Great work.
Thank you, Andrew.
Great.
This was influenced by Japanese manga series. I just love the lighting and the stark
Yeah.
contrast that those tones have. So it could be like purple and teal that you like see in Japanese towns, and this was influenced as a color scheme from another one of the animes that I like. And I was
And
like, okay,
the sunlight source, is that like, did you have like a cutout shape and light behind it, or was this something that you created in Photoshop and utilized, um, a filter type of effect?
so the background was actually a solar eclipse image. That's a stock image in
Oh,
pixels,
cool. Cool.
and the halo around her, that's something that I drew myself.
Right.
So like just make a white layer, crop the ring part out, and like make it glow. That's it.
Yeah. Nice.
And add the same to the eye so it looks more connected to that image.
Hmm.
This is another one of my recent creations that I'm extremely proud of, and this was also an accidental shot. So her like this stretch of fabric that's like from the edge of her toes, that's actually the fabric being stretched out.
Murray Lee says your work is wow, very talented. Yeah.
Thank you, Marie. And all these lights on the left and the right that literally look like a sword, they are actually like highlights of the fabric being stretched.
Is that like a
uh,
fallen angel motif?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Like
Mm.
I titled it The Fall of Icarus.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
the lightning was a brush that I had got like a long, long while ago. So I just like airbrushed out like bits and masked out like all the highlights like from those lightning bolt.
Was Icarus the one that tried to get too close to the sun? Was that it?
Correct.
That
And
one?
its wings melted
Yeah.
and he fell down.
Yeah. Nice. Very well.
This was like one of my recent works with a lady who like makes headpieces. She's a milliner, and she wanted the theme of wind like in the images. So like I had like three amazing aerialists, who were working with me. So like all
Hmm.
three of them just like had that chemistry between them and flow together. The images we created were just marvelous, absolutely beautiful.
Nice. Great.
Yep. Hmm, this was another one.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that one. Yeah.
Yeah. This was uh, I just wanted to experiment with some new fabrics, and like she's a really accomplished model, and herself as an artist, she just flawlessly executed the expression that I wanted to create. The expression of pain, the expression of despair. Uh, I like, and having a good subject to work with is a really amazing experience, because two artists, when they create art together, it just flows flawlessly.
Yeah, nice. Lighting's very nice there too, subtle.
Like, it's a single light source. I try my best.
Yeah.
Same with this one. So wings stock image. The background is from Adobe Textures, and this prop is actually something that I have, but it's tiny. So I
Right.
kind of like cut it out and made it really, really huge.
It's well done to the point that it really doesn't feel like the wings are not attached to her and that she's not holding the thing. It feels like those are real elements that are part of her costume.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was the theme in a way, a really like, fashion wise, a bit more like toga like, and presentation would be more artistic. The
Yeah,
only
great.
And this is the same three aerialists that I had worked with. And thank you, Miguel.
Yeah.
These elements of the apple, the grapes, they were like added. Then the shadow for the apple created just under the neck, looking at the light.
Those are some large grapes there.
Yeah.
It's great though. I like the whole color grading feel too, the kind of brownish green hues.
Like I learned color grading literally last year, like from Joanna Kustra, and I was like, this thing I never like I subconsciously did the colors, but I never got the the logic behind what colors go with what. And once I start using those the stone sets, the images became more expressive and more convincing for the viewer.
And do you tend to use like the color grading through the camera raw panel or
It's a mix. So like camera raw was like it gives me a good starting point. So if I need a hue, or if I need a hue with a more greenish tinge, am I making it with a more 80s vibe? Then I would be using a hue of blue and green. So if during the, how do you say, the first step, if I'm close to that hue, I wouldn't be using camera raw at all. Then I'll be using, say, like infinite color to just give me
right?
2 or 3 sets of color grades, and I'll like work on that.
Yeah, and they merged recently, like Infinite Color merged with Infinite Tools,
Correct. Yeah.
which is good. Yeah, great. Yeah,
I like
beautiful.
have the whole tool set now, so like it's like so handy, so useful. Just speeds up the work for like anything, and like still lets you be creative.
Yeah, they even have one for like retouching a bit, right?
Yes, I haven't purchased it yet.
Yeah. But yeah, there's infinite color, infinite black and white, harmonize. Yeah, nice.
Radiance, infinite skin, infinite luma.
Beautiful work though.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have more?
That's the folder that I had that I wanted to show.
Okay, yeah. So, yep, bring it back. So yeah, wonderful work. Let us know if anyone has any questions. And I have some questions, but let me know if anybody else has other questions. So, so you schedule a model, come in, and then you have set up lights. But are there times where you set up the lights a certain way and then it didn't get exactly what you wanted, and then you go back in and you do a lot of dodging and burning? Are you a fan of dodging, that whole dodging and burning technique?
Correct. Correct. I try to get it as close as possible to the vision, and like,
Great.
but it's like the way that I tend to go and like construct sets as well. So right now I would be like nailing in like wooden planks, maybe like 14 feet off the shooting floor to kind of like make a dome, like a prison cage, like a bird cage. So
Right. Sure.
that's like weeks work of making a set, and then like finding the perfect person who would be able to pull that look or the expression.
Great. Osvaldo has a good question. Great question. Do you sketch your ideas? How do you go about taking an idea concept, ironing it out all the way to shooting it? Yeah.
uh I do sketch my ideas. So mine will be like a more like a 3-page rough book. The first would be like a bunch of images, sketches, rough hand drawing, stick figures. And the second would be like notes on like what elements can I introduce. It could be a butterfly, it could be a grape, it could be like a can of salt. And I try to add visually these like notes and try to make a final image, uh,
Right.
more refined diagram. And no, it is not ironed out till the end. Most of the time is like halfway on making the set and shooting it, and the other half is usually done when I'm editing it. So I
Fantastic.
tend to spend about like 6 to 15 hours on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because Neil was asking that. So how long do you spend on editing an image? Yeah.
Depends. So if it's like creating a piece with the storyline attached to it, it would be between like 6 to sometimes like 2 days, like
2 days.
sometimes
Wow.
like 15-20 hours at a stretch. That thinking process of creating is something that I enjoy. It's something that I love doing, and I don't feel like these hours are technically spent as commodities. These are just like the time required to make art, to express yourself in a way that's never been done before.
Right. Yeah. It's creating can be, obsessive, right? I mean, there's times where you start something and then you put it to bed for the day, and then you might even wake up and you're like, I just want to edit it a
Yeah.
little bit. So you might be like editing at like 2 in the morning or 1 in the morning, So
I'm a creature of the night, I would say so.
Neil says intense creativity. Yeah,
Thank you, Nina.
cool. And so, yeah, my question would be, so, and where do you get a lot of your different ideas from? Where do you get your kind of inspiration, your source ideas?
That's a hard one to tell. So I would consider myself to be an observation, like someone who observes a lot, observationist. I don't know. Uh, and like for me, it's usually the things around me, and I could be just walking on the street, and if something just grabs my attention, visually or geometrically, I just tend to just sit there and just just take it all in, and hopefully it kicks off an idea. Hopefully not, sometimes not, but it's just
Right.
anything that piques your interest. Like, just take a moment and just take it in. It
And then
influences
you,
your thought process eventually.
and then you said you, study magazines as well. Is it photography magazines, fashion, both, all kinds of like maybe film as well, or?
uh Not film, but it would be mostly like artistic. So I love to see the way other artists visualize and conceptualize their ideas, be it like sculpture, music, or anything. It's just a way of expression, and I feel inspired by their way of understanding, and the word would be like devouring art. There's something that I would like but someone else would dislike, and vice versa. But I would love to be in their shoes and see art the way they do. It
Right.
helps me being a
Nice.
successful artist.
Nice. Like imagine you walking around the city, you see a certain person that triggers an idea, and then maybe the next day you're going to one of the wonderful museums in Ireland, and like you said, you look at a painting and that triggers an idea. It's just there's so many different ways that you can be influenced, right?
Correct. It's always a fusion, like subconsciously, like we all absorb stuff, uh, and letting that subconscious influence your outcome as an artist. that's unnecessary. Some people just cull it down. Some people just, sit and do what somebody else has told them to do, which is not proper expression in a way.
Yeah. And for me, one of the biggest challenges is time. So finding time between all the other things that we also have to do is that become a challenge too? And then trying to get, when you do have the time, to get in the right state of mind for your creativity.
Correct. Like time has always been a challenge. Like I have a day job, and I tend to pursue photography with the hours that I have left. And
Yeah.
for me, it's more of a relaxation. Like I wouldn't feel tired working for 6 hours and then editing for 12 at all, because it just keeps the fire within me, you know, to keep going on.
Absolutely. It's a great image. Yeah.
And I hope
And
I
how would
don't
you?
burn out. Sorry, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Andrew.
No, I was just saying. I was just curious. And how would you say that your work has developed? Like when you think of your work that you did 5 or 10 years ago, even, how would you say that it's changed and developed?
I would say like it has. It became better when I got out from the mindset that I was good enough, and that constant self critique of am I not good enough, to the assertion, a positive assertion that I am not good enough right now, but I can be better. So everything that you learn just makes you better. And I
Hmm.
just make it a point to learn, something new like every week. So it could be some knowledge on color grading. It could be like knowledge on luminosity. It could be a knowledge on equipment and lights. It could be anything. So I
Right.
it's just a process of creation. Like if you think that you're good enough, like you'll never improvise. That's what I
Right.
believe. No matter where in your career you are.
But yet you have to enjoy your work enough that you follow through with it and you don't like destroy something as you go.
Correct,
So
correct. Like, being proud of your work is really good. Being arrogant is not.
you're right. Good. Well said. Well said. And have you shown in like either like solo shows or mixed people shows and galleries and
Yeah, like I've put like about like 4 or 5 exhibitions so far.
excellent.
Like never a solo one yet, but it was mostly with other artists. Say like 4 or 5 exhibiting about like 20 works in a museum, and it's nice because the luck that I have had so far is like every curator for the gallery has found a work that's like aligned with the rest of the pieces artworks. And the one that I had before the pandemic, there was a sculptor who tended to make like images as angels, and I had my artwork of the angels right beside it. And people thought this was an actually an artist connection, but we had never worked or met before.
Interesting.
And it was just the way that we thought alike, and like we became good friends now.
Wow, that's interesting. And what is your take on NFTs? Are you interested in jumping into the NFT world, or do you not trust it, or what is your view?
uh Digital currency, yeah, it's a thing of the future. Yeah, that's a different topic. But like NFTs,
No.
I'm still to grab the concept as a whole. So like there would be artworks and assets that I have put for sale, like as NFTs. But when you compare a random like meme selling for like 1.5 million, and some artist artwork that he might have spent like months creating, selling for like merely like $100, you just tend to think like what exactly is, in terms of the buyer's thoughts, what exactly is in demand. Are you creating art for a market, or you are
Right.
creating art for yourself and expecting there's a market?
Right.
So I'm kind of like stuck in between that.
Yeah, and a couple concerns I have is, first is I'd like to find, a dealer or online gallery that represents your work where they take their commission when you sell. I don't like the idea of like paying what they call gas
Gas fees,
prices
yeah.
or whatever, where you pay for just to be able to try to sell your work. Um, So I'm not sure, like if you were to pay a few $100s and then your work doesn't sell, do you get any of that money back, or is it just you're just paying
Yeah.
them and that's it? Um, and you know, and another concern is like a lot of other things in the like entertainment or film industry. I think it's easier for certain people to do well if they already have an established following. So if someone's already selling or they've been in galleries already, they have a certain name out there, then when they do go to sell an NFT or are connected with Foundation or OpenSea or whatnot, it's probably easier for them to sell and to be found. Whereas if I haven't sold or I haven't been represented by another gallery, physical or online, would I be found at all? And would it be harder for me to sell my work as NFTs? So,
Like in terms of the latter, it helps if you have a strong fan following. They tend to do your advertising for you. But in the open market as a freelance artist, it's very, very unpredictable. So you could just put up an artwork, say selling, putting it for sale for like an Ethereum, and it's just like like an investor. People see some value in your art, hoping it's of more value in the future, and they start like bidding on it. You may have underbid because you didn't know how much your artwork was worth, and you must have overbid it. And just because it's good doesn't mean it has a market. So like you said, like the
sure.
risk of the gas fees is upon yourself. It's like I paid like $90 for something and hoping to sell it, but it didn't. So I
You know,
had some losses until I sold one piece, just for like compensating everything.
sure.
Then I was like, no, at least I didn't lose anything, so I'll just stop it right there. I prefer galleries, just like you said.
Yeah, I mean, but I do think it's important that all of us look into it, do our research, because if anything, it's going to be more ingrained in these social networks. I've heard that what is it on Twitter? You can have like a NFT type of profile, which then I don't know if you click on the profile, it goes to your gallery, NFT gallery. I've heard that YouTube is talking about embracing NFTs, and if you show your work on Behance, which is part of Adobe, you can have a Behance online portfolio. One of the options when you go to either embed a video or post your artwork or text, whatever, one of them is NFTs. And if you were to click on the NFTs, you could connect your NFT, gallery or account, I guess. And so that's nice to see a lot of different social networks embracing that reality.
And I think even PayPal has enabled cryptocurrencies in many places.
Say that again.
PayPal,
People,
they
oh,
have
people,
enabled, yeah, cryptocurrencies in their platform as well.
yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I think Facebook is trying to have their own cryptocurrency. I'm not sure it's doing so well though. People losing a bit of trust in Facebook, in the news. That's for sure. Also in Europe, I don't know. That's one thing that came up in the news, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily as true as they make it sound. They make it sound drastic, but they were saying that Facebook was maybe pulling out of being in the European market because of some of the restrictions they're getting. Um, but I think that they themselves have no intention of doing that. But I think they're probably disgruntled about those restrictions.
Correct. Like
Have you?
the Meta platform kind of like aggregates every data of every customer, right? And EU rules do not allow EU data to go out of EU
That's right.
because of GDPR. So like they say, like if they're collecting data, it should be kept within EU and not sent to the US service. So they're like, no, but we want it.
Right. So if
That's
we can't, they're like, so the rumor is if they can't get your data, they're like, we don't want the European Union as such or something.
correct. Close to that, yeah.
It's a lot of people there though, huh?
Oh, loads. But it's
They,
all it's like they'll get over it because like if they don't, they'll be using like losing a huge market share, which I
yeah,
don't think so. It's a sensible choice.
right. And if they feel that they're in competition with TikTok and other platforms now, if they were to make that type of decision, they'd really be kind of being overtaken by those other platforms, I think. Yeah, so Neil is saying, yeah, that is being reported here. I would bet that's a concern. I will. Any questions for Shinu while we have him here? Let us know
Any
in the
questions,
comments.
anyone?
Yeah, wonderful to see your work. Beautiful work, nicely, beautifully executed, well lit. The general motifs, the themes are really nice too. Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Like I try making each of those themes a unique one. It's a new idea every single time. Something comes into your head, you just unload that in an image.
Great. Okay, let's see. Here's a. Yep. So Osvaldo says wonderful work. Yeah.
Thank you.
So give a shout out to Shinu, so you can find him online. You can find him at shinujohn.com, just like the sweatshirt says. And then on Instagram, shinujohn_. So don't forget the underscore at the end, right? And then we have Facebook, Shinu J 1989. Great. And then just a reminder, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please consider subscribing to my YouTube. I will be having ongoing series of these live Photoshop and photography interviews, showcases of wonderful work like Shinu's work. I'll also be doing the live video events through the Facebook groups such as Photoshop and Lightroom, Photoshop and Photography. And of course, a new show I'm focusing on with Sandra Dan is the Digital Art Talk, where we talk about various themes related to digital art. And you can also find my work on Behance, behance.net, Drew Cav. Are you on Behance, Shinu?
I have an account, but I haven't posted there much.
Yeah, you should build it up. It's a good way to have an online portfolio, another source for people to find your work.
Definitely, let's do that.
Great. So, and Neil says, I've been following Shinu for a while. Is there any plans for a workshop?
Yeah. So I was planning something in May. I'm just like trying to sort out the logistics, and hopefully, yes, we'll be able to pull it off.
And
If
they
you
would be able to find information about that on your website,
correct,
shinujohn.com.
correct.
Excellent.
Like once everything is in place, I'll put up a call out, and
Great.
people are open to sign up. It's like 7 a session, in a single workshop, so spaces are limited, kind of thing.
Excellent.
But definitely get the numbers up soon.
Yeah. So, yeah, shinujohn.com. Check it out, bookmark it.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for being here, Shinu. It was great. Loved seeing your work and seeing what you've been up to. And for sure, we'll have you come back. Maybe we'll do a live event where you can show us your magic that you do in Photoshop too, kind of hands-on live. Yeah.
Yeah. We get plus definitely saw something for that. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks again, Shinu. It was really great. And always keep your eye in the Facebook groups on the top pinned post. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Digital Art Drew YouTube channel. So, and Osvaldo says, awesome guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks everyone for being here. And Neil says, May is my busiest month of the year. You know what happens in Ireland communities.
I do. Yeah.
Dave says, thank you guys.
Thank you,
And,
David.
Andrew, very good photos. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.